It's been a hot start to the 1UP Nitro National Series season, and tonight is the last race of the season for a little while before we take a summer break. This is Kentucky Speedway. This is one of the crown jewels of the Superstar calendar. It's the longest race for them, and for the Nitro National Series, they return to Kentucky as an accompaniment event to the Superstar race set to take place tomorrow night. But tonight, it's all about the Nitro National Series for 67 laps around the 1.5 miles of Kentucky Speedway. And back with us in the booth for the first time since Atlanta is James Ellison to bring you the action for tonight's race. Great to have you with us. Well, not sure how much you've kept up, but this series has come to life pretty much ever since we last saw you at Atlanta. The points are a lot more close together now, and with Aiden Clare holding just a 6-point lead over Jake McMillen heading into tonight's race, a lot is on the line for those two, as well as a handful of others trying to join them at the top.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here, a lot on the line, even though it's still very early. Got a lot to look forward to with this race. We had some good exciting fun. Of course, Atlanta, when I last was in the booth, I remember that very well. But taking a look at the point standings, I can see got a good great pardon me, good group of contenders here, and it's early on. We could see this top 5 even be the same we see going toward Homestead, or it could be completely different by the time we reach that. It's hard to say, really.
Yeah, and you mentioned those point standings. We can take a quick look at them now. Aiden Clare, by 6 points, has the lead heading into race number 9 of the season. Jake McMillen only 6 back. Mac Johnson a further 4 points back. Then you have to go back 18 from the lead to find Ryan Reed, who's been on a little bit of a free fall ever since his blistering start to the season. He's currently 18 off the lead in 4th. Brandon Smith completing the top 5. But like you said, the order could be completely shuffled up by the time we get to Homestead, and heck, it could even be shuffled up by the time we leave here tonight.
Oh, it definitely could be. As we've seen in many races, even looking in seasons past. Well, you look at it, you could see somebody just hold on to the lead for so long, and then all of a sudden one bad race or a couple of bad races, and their competitors are right back up to them, or they're completely overrun. So we'll see how it goes here at the end by the end of this one.
Absolutely, but as we can now bring you the full starting lineup for tonight's action at the Kentucky Speedway, we've got an all-Venta Motorsport front row with AJ Zhao taking his first career pole position in the Nitro National Series. Mike Edwards, his teammate, lines up alongside him. This could be a critical race for both of these guys. Zhao looking for his first career win, Edwards looking to reestablish himself as a contender in that team. KJ Hayes lines up third alongside Ryan Arnold with the 5 team from that one racing team of Blair in the 5, rounding out the top 5. This is a much-needed run for that team as well. They've been free-falling down the points ever since their hot start at Daytona. But we've got a few other surprises in the top 10 as well, and some of our contenders from last weekend at Denver starting in the midfield, Jake McMillen and Zachary DeLello, for example. McMillen starts 14th, DeLello in his second and hopefully final week filling in for Skylar Taylor, starting in 15th. But the Kentucky is a great place to make some gains. You can use that middle groove to get some positions going if you're in that midfield and get to the front of the pack. And with 2 pit stops scheduled for tonight's race, that's another opportunity to make some gains as well.
Oh, absolutely. The gains are important, but you also got to be ready to have to, if something happens and you find yourself behind, you got to be able to be ready to rebound as well. So, like I said, we've seen it before. We've seen good runs go awry. I can't help but think about Hawaii. One of my own drivers, Alex Luchon, had a really good shot at maybe even winning, but one little incident messed that all up. And there's plenty of contenders in this field who can think of other instances where they had a shot and something happened. So we'll just have to see how things play out and how how each competitor handles it.
And it could very well happen tonight as well, so we got to keep our eyes out for that as well. But with that being said, we've got 42 cars ready to take the green flag under the lights at Kentucky Speedway, and we are ready to bring you that action now. It is the 1UP Nitro National Series from Kentucky, and the green flag set to get us underway in just a short moment. For 67 laps under the lights, the Nitro National Series will put on a show for us here at Kentucky. It is Zhao and Edwards on the front row, getting ready to get this great race underway. Into the restart zone they go, and the green flag is out. We are racing at Kentucky, and it's a pretty even start for the first few rows, but KJ Hayes got a little bit of a tire spin on the launch, but that will allow Mike Edwards to settle in behind his teammate AJ Zhao. The Venta cars lead us off out of turn 2.
And that's honestly no surprise. The Venta cars are always good in any, or vehicles in general are good in any series, but obviously they're really good here. Of course, they like things to go better for them up in Superstar, but this is looking like a really good start for them as we complete lap 1.
Yeah, Zhao who completes the first lap in the lead, with Edwards right alongside playing wingman in second, holding off the likes of KJ Hayes and Ryan Arnold. But look at the run up the top of the racetrack. Braden Varga has already moved up to 4th place from his 6th starting position, and he settles in line behind KJ Hayes. But the two Venta cars now running line astern at the front of the field. Edwards, though, might be taking a peek to the inside, trying to get the lead away from his teammate.
Yeah, he decided that Zhao had a chance to lead a lap, and now it's time for him to lead a lap, which, honestly, you can't blame him. Because if these two are going to end up beating the class field, which way too early to determine if that's the case, but as we see, Edwards decide it's not worth it at this point. But
wow, hate to interrupt, but look at that lunge from Braden Varga from a mile back, sending it off down into turn 3 to get underneath KJ Hayes. It did not quite work out, and now Blair in the 5 going onto the flat of the racetrack, trying to make a move on Ryan Arnold, but she ends up losing a spot to Yadis Terzic instead.
And looking behind her, and I was actually getting ready to mention Varga's dive, but looking back here toward the back of the top 10, somebody who's really been struggling this year is Crossroads Racing driver and Nitro National Series rookie Jake Buchholz. He's had some struggles in being able to stay locked in once we hit the 5th race and moved on to the new points for the year, and he's holding on pretty good right now in 9th. He's just trying to get on. He needs a good finish because he's been in and out of the top 30 the last few weeks.
He started this race in 12th, so it's good forward progress from him, as it looks like the two Venta cars have checked out on the rest of the field, who are still battling side by side, several rows deep for 3rd, 5th, 7th place. They're all battling, but it looks like Braden Varga is now going to clear KJ Hayes for 3rd. We'll see what this number 9 car can do, setting off after the two teammates who have gapped the field by about a second.
And that's what they need to do, because if they don't do that now, they're not going to have a chance to, at the very least, be able to get one of them a chance to have the most lap sled point. But I don't know. Varga's got a good shot here now that he's clear of the pack.
We'll see how much he gains on this particular lap now that he's out in clean air, about a 10.5. So he is certainly reeling these two in. And if Edwards keeps taking a look under Zhao for the race lead, that's just going to allow Varga to get there even faster. So it might be worth it for the Venta cars to just run nose to tails, keep themselves ahead of that 9 car, because Varga looks to be really quick in the early stages of this race. As we look a little further back at the top 10, we see Buchholz there. We see Samit Ozkin directly ahead of him, having a very strong run in that 43 after the news came out that he would be a free agent going into 2026.
Yeah, it's not news you want to hear this early on, but that gives them plenty of time to find a new spot and find a new ride to go as we take a look at Blair and Buchholz here. But I'm sure that any driver who's looking into free agency, especially this early in the year, will land on their feet somewhere.
And it's not like Ozkin was fired for his performance, that team as a whole shutting down at the end of 2025. So he is looking for a new ride. He's auditioning himself, and running in 7th place is a great place to start, as it looks as though Braden Varga in this 9 car has caught the 2 leaders and is now nose to tail with Edwards and Zhao, the 3 Chevrolets out front, starting to be caught by KJ Hayes, the leading Ford in the race.
And I said it, he would have a chance. He's getting his chance right now. He's caught the 16. He's going to try to go by. But if he gets to fight Edwards too much, Zhao will take off once again. I don't think he really wants to see happen.
No, and he's also got to be careful because Hayes is ranging up behind him as well. I think I'm starting to notice in this race, the bottom lane, great when you're running nose to tail by yourself, but when as soon as you start getting side by side with somebody, you want to be in that second groove from the bottom, that middle lane, because that is where the momentum is. That's where you can carry the most speed. That's where Mike Edwards is right now, and that's why I expect out of turn 2, he should be able to at least defend against Braden Varga.
Yeah, that defense is going to be real important, because when you look at it right here, although that defense might just cost him in the long run anyway, because him holding up Varga is not only letting his teammate get away, which being teammates right now isn't so bad to see Zhao get away, but if these guys and gals start catching up to him, he's because he's holding up the 9, that's going to be a tough situation.
And the thing is, it's natural to want to duck down to the inside because that's the natural place to want to try and make a pass. But it might not be the best way to do things here at Kentucky, at least not tonight. So Varga keeps trying. He's doing a very good job at making moves at the right times, but he's just not in the right position on track to make it happen. And as a result, he has to hang out behind Mike Edwards for a little longer perhaps than he would have liked. As now, it looks like the entire top 6 now under a blanket for the lead.
Yeah, that's a pretty big blanket at the moment, but that doesn't mean it won't get small here very soon, because you see now Edwards not having to worry about Varga for the moment, caught back up to Zhao, but yeah, this top 3 is certainly looking pretty racy here.
Yeah, 2 Venta Chevrolets against the Team Duke Chevrolet. The Bowties have brought some strong stuff to Kentucky this evening, as the next highest Chevrolet behind these 3 is Jacob Buchholz in 9th place. As we look a little further back, Ryan Arnold trying to get by KJ Hayes for 4th, as Varga once again stalking the back of this 60 car, trying to make a move up into 2nd place. And for Mike Edwards, this has got to be his coming out party, as so to speak. This is a race he needed to have. He's been lagging behind his teammates, both of whom are rookies, all season long. And yes, he has that win last year at Las Vegas, but that was a fuel mileage race, and I'm sure he'd love to win this one on merit.
Yeah, you always want to win your first one on merit. It would definitely be very fulfilling for him to do so, but still got some work to do in order to have that chance.
We look a little further back now. Justin Henley, nice to see him running back up at the front of the pack once again in 10th position. He's got a new ride at Raving Sunset Automotive Group. He's been driving this car for the last few weeks, so this is his first chance to shine up in the top 10. He's currently holding off a huge pack of cars that includes Jensen Noman and Will Parrish, who we also are very happy to see at the front of the field in his New England Cruisers racing ride. And David Meskey, who's currently holding off last week's winner, Jake McMillen. That is for about 14th.
Yeah, to see these drivers doing so well, Henley especially, because he's been in and out of the league for the last couple of years or so, and I tried to get him a chance at Crossroads Racing in the Superstar program, and it wasn't going so well, and then he ended up having to dismiss himself again for a while. But seeing him back and seeing him being able to be at least a little bit competitive right now, that's got to be a good story for him. As we see, speaking of feel good, Varga's feeling good that he finally got by the 60, I'm sure.
Yeah, now he can set off after AJ Zhao, who has led this race from the very beginning. It hasn't been a comfortable time for this 12 car, though. He's had to fend off his teammate first, and now he's got to do the exact same thing, but with a much faster, I feel, 9 car in Braden Varga. And we're not that far away from our first round of pit stops, only about 10-15 laps away. And depending on how long you can stretch this first run will vary based on, well, it'll depend on if you can make this race on 1 or 2 stops.
Yeah, 1 or 2 stops. That's a good strategy to play on it. If you try to do 1 stop and you somehow make it work, then you've got not only do you have a good crew chief, but you've got good fuel conservation and tire conservation. But that's kind of hard for Zhao to do right now.
Yeah, because he's leading, and as much as he likes to lead these races, he's also got to be wary of making mistakes. He knows Braden Varga, as he ducks to the inside trying to get the lead right now, he knows Braden Varga is a good enough driver to not make a lot of mistakes, so he's got to avoid making them himself. And look at this. These two battling side by side for this long has brought Mike Edwards right back into play. These 3 are in a class of their own right now.
Yeah, you said it. The Chevy Power, they brought it and they're using it. And as you said, the next closest Chevy is my team's number 30 car back there in ninth place, Jacob Beholz, which, seeing him have a good run with the way his season's gone is always great to see, but he's 3.
Yeah, and look at this battle for the lead here. They were side by side across the line, only 4/100ths of a second separating Zhao and Varga from each other at the line. These two are giving it absolutely everything. And keep in mind, if these two have an incident between each other and take each other out of contention, that opens the door wide open for Mike Edwards to sneak through. And if he gets caught up in that wreck as well, that could open the door for Hayes, Arnold, all sorts of new contenders.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen it happen many times before.
Flashback to Phoenix earlier this year.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Phoenix, like you mentioned, and then all other series, we've seen it. One or more leaders will be dominant, and then something will happen. Next thing you know, you got a whole new bag of contenders to deal with.
As we saw in 1 and 2, Mike Edwards got way high through the center of the corner, and that cost him a lot of track time. Now, he's got to take a back seat to watch Varga and Zhao once again at the line. This time, 18/1000ths of a second separating these two. These guys are very evenly matched. I think Varga might have the faster car, but he needs to find the right position on the track to try and make a move on this 12.
Yeah, he's been trying to find it, but Zhao's been doing a good job playing defense here, and that's exactly what he needs to do. Even as you said, we get ready to approach what will be the first round of pit stops. But for now, it's just a matter of defense. But now it's Vargas' turn to play a little bit of defense as Edwards tries to get back on it.
Meanwhile, KJ Hayes holding a steady 4th. He's the highest placed Ford, and he's doing a fantastic job staying there, holding off the likes of Ryan Arnold and Samit Ozken. But these 3 are putting on an incredible show, even if Edwards is lagging a little back on this run. Varga and Zhao, they are treating the fans to something spectacular here. Zhao, of course, looking for his first career win in the Nitro National Series, but for Varga, it's been a while since he's been to victory lane. You have to go all the way back to last spring at the Circuit of the Americas, the last time Braden Varga was celebrating in victory lane. He wants another one.
Oh yeah, he would definitely love that, and he keeps trying to put himself in a position to have that chance, even with pits, with at least 2 rounds of pit stops, depending on how things play out. But he's putting an effort into it, and he's definitely keeping Zhao on his toes.
Yeah, we're already on to lap 27 of this race. Zhao has led them all, but it's not been an easy job leading this race when you got that 9 car hot on your heels the entire time, trying to take that lead at every opportunity. Varga, I feel like, is the faster car, but Zhao is just putting that 12 in all the right places to make something good of it.
Yeah, he's trying to make something, and, well, it seems like this battle hasn't really brought the field to them as much as it could have. I mean, obviously with Varga being held up by Edwards, it did a little bit, but now these 3 are still practically in their own zip code, or at least starting to make their way there.
And now Edwards is caught back up again. See, every time the 12 and the 9 get to racing each other, it just brings that 60 back into play. And I can see the 32 and the 01. They've put their differences aside, and they're now trying to work together to try and catch the top 3, and they're doing a good job of it. So this could be a 5-car battle for the lead before too long. As we rapidly approach the first round of pit stops, Zhao has led every lap so far.
And that's exactly what you need to do. Like I said, no matter what happens now, it's a matter of trying to make it to the point where he could get that bonus point. And if he can get that bonus point and win, that would certainly be a great day for him. But starting with that bonus point for leading the most laps, that would definitely be something that he could definitely be happy to take home, even no matter what the outcome of the race.
Currently, the fastest lap of the race goes to Jensen Nomina in 9th position. Of course, that could very well change after this round of pit stops, which should be starting any moment now. See a couple hands out the window already. Varga, though, dives it off to the inside anyway. He's not letting Zhao take a break for even a second as they make their way through 3 and 4. Varga's coming into the pit lane, and so is Zhao, but look, he missed the commitment line. That's got to be a penalty, shouldn't it?
That is huge. That is huge right there.
We'll keep an eye on. We'll keep an eye on Zhao to see if he does get a penalty, because he clearly missed the commitment cone on his way to pit road, and we saw this last week with Justin Henley. Could the same fate have just struck AJ Zhao, who had led this race from the start?
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is huge. If he gets a penalty, this is all that I just said about getting the point for most laps led will go right out the window, because he's still several laps short of that for sure.
Making their way to the left side of the car. They will hold him if he is serving a penalty in this race. Oh, and he does! Zhao's got the penalty for commitment line violation. This is going to set him back a long way, because Varga and Edwards are already out of the pits, while AJ Zhao is stuck sitting there serving that penalty. This is going to destroy his race.
And meanwhile, Jacob Holes took a chance to lead a lap, get a point, and now he's in. We'll see what happens here, because we've talked about it before, undercut versus overcut, how it works out. Well, we're going to see which play pays out the most.
One guy we are not going to see at the front of the field at this point is AJ Zhao. There he is. He's just exited the pits now. He is going to be right at the back of the field now. He was stuck on pit road for far longer than he wanted to be, all because of a rookie mistake that set him back almost a lap. I said it before, didn't I? Earlier in the race, you can't make mistakes in this level of racing, and for AJ Zhao, he just made one, and that could have cost him his race.
And that's going to be a hard pill to swallow coming out of this one, no matter where he ends up, because you can't make mistakes like that. You just can't, because when you have that happen, it just messes with you. It really does. Oh,
and I think this hits Zhao even harder than I initially thought, because look, there he is, right in front of the new leader of the race, which is Braden Varga. He's about to go a lap down. He's in 42nd position, about to go a lap down.
Yeah, like I said, that is a huge impact on this. Of course, now we gotta wait and let things cycle back out,
which they just have.
Go back to the lead. Yeah, Varga go back to lead. With Mike Edwards just right there behind him, or a little ways behind him, but still not far off.
And the fastest lap of the race, I predicted it would change, and sure enough it has, by Jared Schenk in the 95. He needed that point because he is right on the verge of falling out of the top 30 in owner's points. So depending on where he finishes today, that could very well still happen. But look, AJ Zhao, 28.5 seconds off the lead. He dominated this race, led the opening 29 laps. Now he'll be lucky to even get a lead lap finish.
Yeah, that's, honestly, I don't know what else to say that I haven't already said about that situation. He's just going to have to take this one and move forward and make a mental note to be mindful in the future. I'm sure he was already trying to be mindful already, but of the commitment cone. You don't play with the commitment cone. It don't play no games, and neither do the officials, clearly.
So AJ Zhao drops out of contention for this race win as the rest of the top 10 scrambles to try and catch up to the two leaders now of Varga and Edwards. For Mike Edwards now, he's become the lead driver at Vento Motorsport for this race. But Eric DeMax is not going to be contending for this win, at least not at the moment. He's not even in the top 10, and we know what happened to AJ Zhao. So for Mike Edwards, this is his opportunity to really make a statement, challenge this 9 car, try and take the win away, and salvage something for this race team.
Now that's all Edwards can do now is, well, he wants to win for himself, but now he's got the extra burden of trying to salvage something for Vento Motorsports because as he can clearly see right up ahead of him, his own teammate who he at just a handful of laps ago was, or actually a little more than a handful of laps ago now, but about 10 laps ago, he was looking out, seeing Zhao in front of him, and that was being scored as the leader. Now he's looking out ahead at Varga as the leader and Zhao as about to be left by both of them.
This is tough for AJ Zhao. I know we're beating a dead horse over this, but this is really hard for AJ Zhao. And the problem is he's got a month to think about what just happened in this race, because that's how long we're going to have until our next race at Charlotte. So Zhao's going to be kicking himself over this one for at least as long as it takes for us to get to Charlotte. But now he's just got to settle in, got to focus on keeping on the lead lap, keep that 9 car behind him, which he was able to do earlier, hope for a yellow flag to get him caught back up.
Yeah, that's all you can hope for right now, is that he can hold off Varga and Edwards long enough that even just a caution for a spin somewhere on the track would help him get back up there and maybe salvage something out of this. But so far, things have been looking pretty good as we look further back toward the back of the field here.
Yeah, and it looks like Will Parrish was another guy who had a really bad pit stop on that cycle. He's fallen all the way back to the 30s, and that's really unfortunate for him. He started up in the top 10, probably not going to finish there at this rate. And there's Jared Shank. He currently holds the fastest lap, but he's mired in the high 20s at the moment. Hopefully he can charge up through the field and set some better times. But as we make our way back up through the field in reverse, here are the two leaders, Varga and Edwards. These two have been consistently out front all night long, and AJ Zhao he might still be able to decide who wins this race by holding up Varga enough to let his teammate Edwards through.
Yeah, that'd be something that I think Edwards would be very appreciative of. Maybe this could be how Zhao gets a little bit of comfort on the situation, is maybe holding Varga up enough that Edwards can make a move and steal the win away.
Well, we still got about 25 laps before we know for sure, but this is shaping up to be a very intense battle between Braden Varga and Mike Edwards. Look, the 60 dives down to the inside on the 9, trying to make something happen in the turn 1, but Varga's going to have that top lane, which has been the best lane to run throughout this race, and yes, he will be able to hold the lead out of 2.
And that's gonna be big and important because, well, it's big right now. It'll be even bigger if he can if this defense gets him the victory. But Edwards has been really, really hounding him, and of course, having Zhao right up there ahead, that's definitely something to think about, because who knows how this is going to play out with the 12 lingering up there, clearly on his own defense.
Yeah, and Zhao's actually starting to gap these two a little bit as they battle for the lead. That's good news for the 12. Might even be good news for the 9 to get a little further away from that 12 car, pack a little more clean air. But now that Edwards has stopped battling with Varga's all over the back of that 12 car again. This 9, I feel like, has been the fastest car all day, and now he just needs to get past this 12 car to put him a lap down.
Yeah, and that's what he wants to see, because he knows that if Zhao gets the opportunity to get his lap, but that he's currently not yet down, but get back to where he can at least start making up positions. I don't expect him to be too worried about Zhao doing a complete miracle and finding a way to steal the win, but I really would have. I think Varga is just wanting to make sure that Zhao can't rebound in any way.
Yeah, because that 12 was the dominant force in the early stages of this race. Now, not so much. Now he's just struggling for dear life to stay on the lead lap in a race that has turned on its head in the first pit stop cycle of the night. But we're quickly approaching 20 laps to go for Braden Varga. And like I said, it's been a while since he's been to victory lane. You got to go back to Coda last year when he got his first Nitro National win. And he's been waiting for a while for his second one, and if all goes to plan here, he's already got a seconds lead over Mike Edwards now. This could be his chance to get that second.
That would be big for him. It'd be big for Ventus. And as we look back toward the back of the top 10 here, with Buchholz trying to regain the 9th place position he lost over the last cycle.
From Mac Johnson in the 18.
And this is a pretty good race. Of course, we see now that Varga started to stretch it out. But honestly, I would say, well, I'm kind of at a loss for words for what to say, but Varga is doing what he needs to do. Edwards doing what he needs to do, although at the moment it doesn't seem like it's quite enough. But there's still opportunities here. I believe we have one more pit cycle left, don't we?
We should, and this is a very strong run as well for Samad Ozkin in this 43, like we said earlier, looking for a new ride for 2026, and he is demonstrating his worth right here, holding off the likes of Mac Johnson, Jacob Buchholz, Angel Gutierrez, and more in the fight for 8th position. Johnson dives to the inside of the 43, but I think Ozkin should be able to carry the momentum off the top to try and defend that position. Ozkin having a great night in that 43.
And we talked about earlier, that's what he needs. Because as we said, he is auditioning for a new ride with the current one shutting down the whole. Remember, you said the whole team. That's going to be really good for him if he can hang on for this top 10.
And meanwhile, some other people that really need top 10s. Blair in the 5s had a rough go of it lately. She needs one. David Meskey's had an up and down season. He'd like to get another one. But they're all stuck behind Braden Varga, who has stretched his lead out to almost 1.5 seconds and well over 5 seconds back to 3rd place, which is currently the battle between KJ Hayes and Ryan Arnold.
Yeah, that's a good battle going on right here, because obviously the lead battle is kind of settled down, but the fact that there's still some battles going on the track is definitely a positive, as we see the 5 trying to hold on to a position here.
Actually, that's a pass going on between the 5 and the 01. That's Blair moving up into 4th place past the 01. So great run for that 1 racing team and that 5 team in particular. They really needed it after the backsliding they've been doing in the points. But for KJ Hayes, this is going to be a great day for him if he can hang on to his first career podium in one-up competition. KJ Hayes is one of those success stories I've been talking about all season long. He's struggled at the back for much of his career. This is his first real opportunity for a top-level team, and he's rewarding them now, running in 3rd with just about 15 laps to go.
Yeah, and that's always good to see. Like I said, Hayes started 3rd, running 3rd. You need to see that, and then Blair. That's a good start and a good running position at the moment. Meanwhile, Varga is slowly checking out.
Yeah, and he's doing a mighty job of it right now, just doing whatever he possibly can to hold on to this lead. He's got a pretty comfortable lead right now. It's over 1.5 seconds now. So he can probably wait on a pit stop. He can wait to see what Edwards does before he comes in, but he's not even waiting. He's taking the initiative, and he's come to pit road first.
Yeah, that's going to be big. Apologies as I was a little bit distracted, but yeah, the cycle has begun, but
it's just him on pit road right now.
Yeah, that could be good, that could be bad, we don't know.
It'll be good if everyone else has to pit too. And look, Kev Shearer at the back of the pack, he's coming in now, so that's good for him that he's able to make that pit stop and get back out. I think KJ Hayes is coming in now. Yes, he is. So, and he's bringing Mac Johnson, Jake McMillen, Justin Henley's coming in as well. We got a whole host of cars now coming down pit road as Varga leaves the pits. That should cycle the lead to Mike Edwards. We'll see how long he stays out.
Yeah, he came in with some of the others before, and now he's staying out this time, trying something a little different, see if maybe it gives him an advantage. And here he comes.
Yep, and so Edwards does make the stop. I think Blair and Oskin. Wow, Oskin's really close to that commitment line. But he did make it. That's good. And he now leads the charge down pit road as David Meske, Ryan Arnold, Jensen Nomina, and a handful of others are all staying on the racetrack for another lap at least. Maybe these guys could be trying to go to the end.
This would be a huge push to see if they can make it, because we're coming up on 10 to go here now, and if this can be pulled off, wow, would that be something. I mean, we've seen moves like this before, but if Meske can do this, it'd be big for him, but it'd also be pretty big for some of the ones who are staying out behind him if they can pull it off with him.
Yeah, Meske, Arnold, Nomina, Pujols, Gutierrez, Brendan Smith, who's Meske's teammate, Riadis Terzic, Zachary DeLello, Ryan Reed, Nagatsuka Kanauka, and a handful of others outside the top 10. They're all trying to go for it here, and we just crossed 10 laps to go, so I'm very curious to see if this strategy works. They'd have to save a hell of a lot of gas, but it's possible.
It is possible. We've seen it happen. One place I can think of that's staying out, regardless of what the fuel mileage is, I can think of Denver Road Course Superstar last year. That's a good example of it.
Absolutely.
I can't remember off the top of my head last time that worked out in Nitro, but this could be big. Like I said, for Meske, for everybody behind him, if they could pull it off.
And one guy I noticed who is also staying out on the racetrack, hoping for something good to happen, is AJ Zhao in the 12, and he's got nothing left to lose anymore. If he stays out and he makes it to the end of the race, that's a top 25 finish right there, and that's at least something to salvage his night. But it's gonna be a tall order. There is Zhao right there. He stayed out as long as he possibly can, try and save some fuel here, because there is Braden Varga. He's in 24th, a lap down, but he's gonna try it here. And one thing this will possibly do for AJ Zhao, with Meske leading all these laps, that takes away Braden Varga's opportunity to lead the most laps.
It certainly does, as we're now down to 6.5 to go now. We gotta wait and see here how this plays out. But if Meske can hold on and even make it close to the finish.
Well, Nomina can't make it. He's on his way in. Brandon Smith coming into the pits, as is Kanauka. These guys, and Alexa Lucian, Jared Schenk. These guys were all trying to stretch it on fuel. They were unable to do so, and now they're in the pits. It makes me wonder if Meske and Arnold can make it too.
That's the thing that they're probably starting to wonder. Can they make it? And we're starting to see here, and looks like they might be slowing.
Yeah, they're coming in. They're not going to be able to make it to the end of the race, and that's a shame for these guys. They're all coming in now, but they gave it their absolute best shot, and that's all we really ask, is for these guys to do what they think is the best strategy for them to win the race. This is what they thought it was, but alas, it was not enough. They are in the pits, and this should cycle the lead back to Braden Varga in the 9.
Yeah, that's gonna really mess up Zhao's hopes, because, like you said, he was trying something. He wanted to see if it worked and see if he could make it, but it's not to be, unfortunately.
No, and this is going to be a learning opportunity for AJ Zhao. He tried his best. He was doing such a good job at the early stages of this race. Just made that one slight error, and it's going to cost him. But he'll learn, and he'll be back better than ever for Charlotte. But it looks as though now, yeah, there's Meske on the pit exit. There's Zhao just leaving the pits. And Braden Varga will be the leader of the race when this all cycles out. Kev Shearer is a lap car, and so is Tegan Fox. So, we're coming up on 4 laps to go now, and the lead between Varga and second place Mike Edwards is now massive.
And that's gonna be tough for Edwards because he
Yeah,
was
it's a
hopeful, but
3-second lead. That is, unless Varga gets really held up behind these lap cars, Edwards is not going to be able to get there.
yeah, that's gonna be big right here because Edwards was hopeful to be able to make something of this, but he can't really be too upset. Second place, but one place better. He's been hopeful for that, like you said, for quite a while, but it looks like
Look at that
pending
move.
a miracle.
I hate to interrupt, but look at that move Jake McMillen just made on Ryan Reed and Jacob Buchholz. That's a move up into 9th place for McMillen. That's his first time in the top 10 all day. Excellent move from the 21 to move up to 9th place, but might be too little too late to win this race. He's 7.5 seconds off the lead, but we're coming to 2 laps to go. KJ Hayes trying to get to back up onto the podium. He's got to get to Mac Johnson if he's able to do that.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard because I mean the field's really started to spread out here. We saw them all getting all battling, fighting really good. I made up a word there, but they were putting up some good fights. But now, as this thing has run green, looks like it's gonna be to the end at this point. We do know that a caution would end it regardless.
Yeah, because we're on the white flag right here.
Vargas got this in the bag pending an issue.
Which we have seen in the past, but if Braden Varga has been faultless today. He has led for 25 laps of this race. It's not going to be the most laps, but he'll lead the one that means the most. And as he comes for 3 and 4 for the final time, it's been a while since Braden Varga's been to victory lane. Go back to Circuit of the Americas last time he did it, but he's going to take the checkered flag and win here today. Out of 4, final time, checkered flag in the air. Braden Varga, a winner in the Nitro National Series at Kentucky Speedway.
And that's huge congrats to Braden Varga. He played strategy right, seized an opportunity when Zal made a mistake, and heartbreak for Zal. But Team Duke's got to be real proud of this effort by Varga.
And Mike Edwards as well brings it home second. That's his best race of his career. I know he won at Vegas, but this is the best race he's had on speed. Mac Johnson, we didn't talk about him much today, but he's on the podium in 3rd, Noman a 4th. Meskey 5th, Hayes 6th, still a great day for him, ahead of Brandon Smith 7th, Ryan Arnold 8th, Jake McMillan 9th, and Ryan Reed completes the top 10. But, man, a bitter pill to swallow for AJ Zhao. He led 29 laps, the most of anyone today, and he will be finishing last with only 3 points to his credit today.
And that's, like I said, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow. And you said as well, he's got a month before we go to Charlotte to think about this. So that's that's a tough one.
Yeah, but that is it for the Nitro National Series, at least for a month. We'll be back on July 4th weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A great celebration will be taking place there with all 3 series racing there. We're looking forward to seeing you there as much as anything. But from James Ellison and from myself as well, thank you so much for joining us for a night of great racing action at Kentucky. Commiserations to AJ Zhao. He sure showed him he was worthy of winning this race, and I'm sure he'll win one by the end of this season. But a big congratulations as well to Braden Varga, who for the first time in over a year is a one-up winner again.